welcome to the BiG Scuba Podcast. Thanks for downloading. Time to get on board and let's go diving. Mind those ropes.
Hello, my name's Leanne Cullen-Unsworth and I'm the CEO of Project Seagrass. I'm delighted to be here with Gemma and Ian on the BiG Scuba Podcast to talk about the vital work we're doing to protect, restore and champion seagrass meadows across the globe, and why this incredible habitat matters for our climate, our coastal communities and our future.
Hello and welcome back to the BiG Scuba Podcast. My name is Ian and I'm one of your co-hosts, and with me is...
Hello, my name is Gemma. I'm the other co-host, and welcome to the BiG Scuba Podcast.
Yes, welcome. I was going to say this is the first one of the year, but it's not actually, is it?
No, it's our second edition.
Our second of the year. Right from the top, let me tell you, these episodes are all sponsored by the lovely people at NART.90. I'm trying to point to our sign on our Zoom background, and they have the service that is beyond technical.
Yes, they cater for all your diving needs, whether you're a recreational diver right through to a technical rebreather diver.
Yeah, they got something for you. And if you need your dive computer serviced and you need somebody to have a look at it and you don't want to send it all the way over to Canada or wherever, then get in contact with the guys at NART.90. They will have you sorted out, no problem at all.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we have a guest for you. We have got a guest all the way over from up north, and that came out wrong. Anyway, so she's going to be on telling us about the Seagrass project. That's what she's going to be telling us about.
Yeah.
Her name is
Leanne Cullen-Unsworth, and she's the CEO of the Seagrass project.
Should have wrote that script better. I think that's what it is, isn't it? We'll blame the script.
Do it on the hoof.
Remember the days when we used to have a script?
Yeah.
Poor old Andy Torbert. We had about 5 pages. We
did of questions
for Andy Torbert.
Yeah. Now we have nothing. Can you tell?
Shh! Don't let on. People think we rehearse and practice these.
No.
Get everything off to a fine tune. So yeah, we've got guests, and I'm just going to be telling us all about the Sea Project and why that's important. That's the important thing, is seagrass. So not us rabbiting on for an hour or so. It's actually, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We've got some news for you. So we'll say well done and welcome back to I was going to say Blighty, but actually welcome back to the planet to one of our previous guests who's been up in the International Space Station again. Not his first time, because he's done this before. Mike Fink, who we spoke to with the help of the Honeymeister back in 2020 when she was just a midget.
Yeah, tiny. So yeah, we had a great recording with him. We put it up on YouTube and it's on the podcast, but he told us all about his training as an astronaut and his experience in space. But he's they came back a month early from the International Space Station.
Yeah, somebody was unwell apparently. We don't know if that was him or one of the crew 11. And I have to say, I don't like their space outfits. Have you seen their
the white
outfits?
The white.
It kind of looks like something out of Odyssey 2001. Do you remember that film?
Yes, it looks quite dated. Yeah.
But they're all very slim, sort of like everything's all looks. I don't know. To me, it doesn't look right. When you look at the other ones, I was like, they've just come out with the rocket that's about to go up to the moon, isn't it? It's doing its thing, and NASA had shown the latest crew that's going to be on that rocket, massive great big rocket, and they got the big suits that we all kind of grew up with and known. They look like astronauts, these slim down SpaceX ones, which I know they're all just as good, but what do you think?
Yeah, I also was reading a BBC article about life in the International Space Station, and they were saying about sweat, because it obviously beads up on there and then could float off into the...
It must do.
Yeah, it was quite interesting to see.
I don't know, would the novelty wear off after a while? Because you're in this tin can floating around the orbit, aren't you?
Yeah.
And I think once you've seen the view and you've gone like, the amazing view, which the view's got to be the best thing out of the whole thing, is the view of the planet. But apart from that,
Yeah.
would you
But
not? But you
then
kind of wear off after a bit.
they're kept busy, aren't they? It said that their day is broken into 5-minute slots and they've got assignments and scientific stuff to do. So they're busy. So
I'd want to be busy because otherwise you're just going to be thinking, I can't see my friends, I can't go out, can't dive, can't see my family. Although I'm in communication, I can't
yeah,
see them. I can't get fresh air
yeah.
for a lot. Probably suit cave divers quite well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they said about the smell of space. It kind of has a metallic smell.
Well,
And
yeah, and I suppose if you think about old cars and old boats and whatever, they all smell, don't they? And
mm,
you get in an old car, and you get that smell of oil and rubber and leather and you know,
yeah,
uh, it all sort of into the air, isn't it?
yeah. So, but yeah, it's interesting reading
We're
about
going
it.
to lose those smells in years to come because when everyone's buying EVs, what we're going to have the smell of then?
Yeah, it was like
Bamboo.
losing the
There's
noise of cars because they just go.
Yeah, anyway, let's not get political.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, welcome back, Mike Fink. And if you would like to go back and
That
watch
went
that,
off on a tangent quite quickly.
it did, yeah. If you'd like to listen to Mike Fink or watch him on YouTube, then I'll put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, episode 31 and back in September 2020.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good talking to him. And we also spoke to Peter
Miller.
That's it as well. He was one of the guys in the neutral buoyancy labs who helps the astronauts.
Yeah.
And Friday night we just spoke to another long time guest, didn't we? And her son Ollie.
Yes.
So we spoke to Miranda Krestnikov. I'm so sorry, Miranda, if I got your name. I'm sure I'm probably not the first person.
No,
I thought I had it right.
So yes, Miranda's been on the podcast before. I think that was episode 20, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, even earlier.
And her son is 17 currently, and he was just telling us about his diving journey and how he's really keen to get more youngsters into the sport of diving, and how fantastic it is.
Yeah. So that's going to be coming up, as Jem said, in a few weeks' time. And it was good to have a catch up with them. So that's good. Lundy Diving got a new boat.
Bright Horizon.
Yeah. How about that? Smart looking boat.
It is.
In fact, we've got to say, hi to them because they've been sharing some really not good photos of like previous photos of Andy and Ben's father at the helm and now sharing what the part of their journey is bringing this new boat in, and it looks good, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what plans they've got for it. And it must have been an amazing trip bringing it back way up in Scotland somewhere. They picked it up, and then Gemma, Ben, and I can't remember the name of the guy that we met this last summer on the boat, but three of them crewed it back down to Ilfracombe.
Yeah, that would have been a good trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah, must have seen some good sights. What else have we got coming up? Currently, as we're talking, the Dusseldorf Boot Show is going on.
Yeah, Boot is on.
So that's a show that covers, anything on the water and under the water, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're going, let us know what you're hoping to see, what you're hoping to do. And I think most of the diving brands are represented there, I think. As the biggest one in Europe.
We'll maybe have to see whether we could do that for a weekend next January.
What, Boot?
Yeah. Go on a Saturday, come back on the Sunday.
Yeah. Mission Explore. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Other shows coming up. We will be going to the Camping and Caravan Show again in February. That's the 17th.
Going to have a nose at that, see what the latest models are and seeing what they're geared up for the outdoor person.
Yes.
What they got in place.
Yeah, we've had a couple of experiences with a camper van and motorhome. Just this last summer, we had the auto trail.
Yeah.
So you can go back. We spoke about it on the podcast and some YouTube footage of it, and we loved it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I loved the garage is what the words I was looking for. The garage at the back.
Yeah, brilliant for diving and getting out in the outdoors, for storing dive equipment, bikes, paddleboards. It's really good.
Yeah. And also going on, coming up, I don't think we're going as such, but for anyone who are interested, there's a Ocean Advocate Summit, which is only a day. It's in London on 21st of February. If you're interested in that, I think a lot of these non-for-profit organisations go, and who got interests in ocean health and well-being, and other sort of content creators might go.
Yeah.
It's not a free one. It's one you got to pay for. I think tickets are about 60, start at about 60 quid.
Wow.
But there's speakers laid on and conference, and it's a bit of a network and event.
Well,
It's
we'll
not
have
the
to have
first.
a
I
look.
think they had it last year. It's called the Ocean Advocate Summit. If you're
Yeah.
listening to that, in London on the 21st of February is coming up.
We'll have to have a look and see who the speakers are, and maybe there might be some future guests.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
And
And then
then
Go Dive Show.
yeah, so that's the 28th of Feb and 1st of March, a Saturday and Sunday. So it's held up near Coventry.
Yeah, I
Stoneleigh.
think there's an offer on at the minute for early bird tickets, but don't hold me to it. I don't know when. I don't know when that expires, but I think at the moment that's still on early bird discount if you want to get booked up and get your tickets. So go to the Go Dive Show website. I think there's a usual array of speakers.
Yeah.
UK speakers. I think there's a couple of new speakers.
Yes, there are. And also they've got a UK diving stage, I think, as well. So to
Yeah,
promote UK diving.
which is what we need in the UK, isn't it?
Yeah. But the speakers from all over, I think some previous guests as well. So
Need some youngsters as well.
yes.
Need to get some youngsters on board. A lot of young people doing some really exciting stuff. So be nice to see if there's some youngsters this year doing some talks. That'd be really good.
Yeah, there'll be the usual manufacturers of scuba gear there, and there's usually a lot of travel companies as well, like liveaboards and resort destinations. So if you're thinking about holidays, you can actually meet these people face to face and see what they've got to offer.
Yeah, everyone's friendly, and it's always a nice atmosphere. There's always good food laid on, good refreshments. Well, that Stoneleigh Park is all well catered for. Car park and it's nice and easy. It's easy to get to, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, and remember there's a pool there as well, so you could do a scuba tri dive, or we did our side mount tri dives there, didn't we?
We did, with the crews.
Yeah, and I think they do a bit of free diving or breath work as well. So if you want to get wet at the show, that's the opportunity to get in the pool.
Who were misses?
Moving on.
Anyway, so there we are. So there's lots coming up, and it's January as we're recording, so it's the start of the year. So it's nice. We're now looking forward for what's coming for the year ahead. Questions for things to maybe talk about and think about is, how do we get more people into the diving community? Because we talk about this diving community.
Yeah.
So you might hear these questions come up in different discussions this year, but particularly in the UK, how do we get more people through the doors, get trained up, and they don't disappear? They don't go on to the next exhilarating sport, but how do we get people to stay in the diving world and then carry on and build their careers in it? Because there's a big element of people that do come through and then they go on to like rock climbing, cycling, stuff like that, and then we lost them, so for the good of the diving community and sport, what we've got to start, and I think it's for everybody, is thinking about how do we encourage that, how do we get more people into the game,
Yeah,
because
and
there's a
it's
lot of industry. A
it,
lot of people have jobs related to the industry, and for their, you know, let's take Fourth Element as one of them. You know, they're not the sole one, but lots of them are out there. But you know, Fourth Element's business is selling uh, gear and stuff like that. So we need more people to come in and
keep them going.
keep them going. Not just them, but other companies as well.
And the dive centres as well. So, you know,
The dive centres,
dive centres, you know, it starts particularly with them because, you know, they're training these youngsters and it's making it so fun and a journey that these new divers want to stay and continue diving
yeah.
and, you know, look at other opportunities or do more courses. But yeah, it's obviously something we have spoken to previous guests, and we spoke to Ollie and Miranda Friday about it. It was, you know, it's definitely something that is crucial to keep this diving community stable
When
and
you're looking
growing.
at diving agency numbers, they're going down, not up, and that's
Mm.
not good for the long term industry. So if you're listening to this and you've got an opinion, and maybe you work for one of these companies, mate, or agencies, and you've seen something similar and that concerns you, and you want to come on, get in contact, and we'll get you on. And because it's going to take, it's not there isn't one trick it's going to fix. It's going to be down to everybody doing many things to try and
Mm.
fix it, because obviously, you know, numbers are starting to dwindle and money's getting harder.
Yeah.
You know,
And we
we've got a
know,
year ahead where money's getting tough.
yeah, scuba is a niche sport. It's not like football and fishing, where there's a huge community of people that take part in that. But it is alongside other sports that, you know, not so well.
I think there's a leaf we got to take out of fishing and football, and
Mm-hmm.
how you return diving into and take a leaf out of those sports, that somebody can just go, oh, just, you know, going to go fishing today. Well, I'm going to go, instead of go catch the fish, I'm going to go look at the fish.
It's also a bit like the hiking and outdoorsy type sports. So that wasn't very um, all over social media until we got COVID and then people were getting outside. But now there are people that specifically are young and they're all over social media. And that's the way that the sport of hiking and getting outdoors has grown. So, you
Yeah.
know, Snowdon, for example, pre-COVID, you wouldn't see lots of people there, but now it's rammed. And that's purely because of the publicity that it's had over the
And I
last.
think there's a role for some of these guys who are doing some really great stuff,
Mm.
you know, big time deep divers, tech divers, um, and people who are doing, you know, just doing really good stuff, exploring, and then saying, hey, you know, I was in this lake and I had a really good time.
Yes, so it's
That
not
way,
all
the
deep,
people
dark
who are
stuff.
starting, you know, it will, and the lakes, more lakes will become popular, because
Mm.
there's a lot of lakes on our doorstep we never get to hear of.
No.
So it'll be really good to do that as well. You know, we know, we know you'll never beat diving in the sea. We get that, you know, but it's not always possible. So we also need our inland lakes, because they're all part of the diving community. They also need their share of the business, you know. So, and like Stony at the minute now got this railway carriage, and that's going to be really popular. There's going to be a lot of people wanting to explore that once they finally get that in. And how on earth they ever got that down them bends? It's like, wow,
Yeah.
it's amazing. But anyway, once that gets in, so that's going to be really popular. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. So I think we just need to make sure we're making the best of what we've got. And I don't
Yeah.
think we
And
are at the moment.
if you're a UK listener, yeah, recommend some dive sites to us. We've heard of the usuals, Stony, Dost Hill, but if you,
Bobster,
yeah,
Tate and Ray,
Cape and Ray, yeah,
Raspberry.
yeah. But if there are any unknowns out there, you know, let us know and then we can talk about them. Because
Yeah.
again, you know, that's getting some variety. You're not just going to go dive at Stony or Stony again. There are other dive sites out there. But yeah, if there's somewhere new that you want to recommend, then yeah, point it in our direction.
Yeah. I see some people go to Spring Lakes or Neames or the lake. So a lot there. Anyway, should we get our guest on?
Yes. Yeah. So our guest is from the Seagrass project, and her name is Leanne Cullen-Unsworth, and she is the CEO and co-founder. Excellent. Well, welcome to BiG Scuba Podcast. It's great having you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. And we're going to kick off with the one of our questions that we like to ask our guests is, what does being under the water mean to you?
Being under the water, my brain immediately goes to seagrass, but that is not where my underwater journey started. I learned to snorkel in my very early teens, and then learned to dive when I was 14, I think. But my whole life prior to that, I was obsessed, you might say, with the marine environment. I just wanted to be near the beach, by the beach, in the sea, wet, basically. And so it's just this logical progression towards being properly under the water. Now it's still, for me, it's just an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be under the water. At the moment, if I'm underwater, I'm snorkeling more often than not, rather than scuba diving these days. But that's fine because there's still so much to see. And I absolutely love being immersed in a seagrass meadow. It is one of my favorite things, just duck diving down and swimming through the beautiful fronds of a green seagrass meadow, seeing what's there is amazing.
Yeah. So did
awesome.
you grow up?
So where parts are you in the UK?
I'm now based in South Wales. So Project Seagrass headquarters is in Bridgend in South Wales.
Yeah. So did you grow up by the sea?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I'm from Manchester, and so I grew up in Manchester. That's where I lived. That's where my family lived. However, we always had a caravan by the sea on the coast of Anglesey, and that was a caravan that my grandparents had. So my mum went there when she was little. So that was kind of where I feel like I did my growing up. It was where I always wanted to be. I think my first dip in the ocean was when I was about 4 weeks old. And I think since then I've just wanted to be back. But I think there's something inherent in all of us, isn't there, that just, or most of us at least, that wants to be near the sea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So how did your scuba diving journey start?
So that started probably, I was lucky. I knew from an early age that I wanted to be a marine biologist. Like when I was 10 at primary school, I was talking about this, and had inspiring teachers and not so inspiring teachers. Someone once told me everyone wants to do that, which I found out is definitely not true. But always had the support of my family as well, which was amazing. But because I knew from an early age that that's what I wanted to do, the link to diving was just logical. It was a logical fit for me. It was part of that piece. I wanted to be, as well as studying and learning more about the ocean from a distance, which is fine. I wanted to be immersed in it. So as soon as I was old enough to join a club, I joined my local BSAC club, basically when I was 14 in Middleton. Shout out to the Middleton posse if they're still going. I don't know.
We'll have to look them up. Yeah. So how did you feel when you took your first journey underwater?
How did I feel? Super empowered. It's such an empowering experience. It's amazing, the technology that's gone into scuba that allows you to breathe underwater. I think that sensation's the overwhelming thing. I mean, obviously at first you're in a swimming pool doing that, or most people are, whilst you're learning the basic skills. But I remember my very first dive was in the Albert Docks in Liverpool in February, and I had a super crappy wetsuit, like a surf wetsuit. I wasn't really around the kit at that point, and it was It took me about 4 days to warm up afterwards. But it was amazing. I remember it. And the only thing that I saw alive on that dive was an eel. And it was late in the day, it was getting dark, and I was with an instructor, and we were following it with a torch, and it was just amazing to me. I was just mind blown by this one eel that we were following around the Albert Docks. So yeah, it was an interesting introduction. But it was part of the training, and I wanted to do the training, and then that led to my first dives were off the coast of Anglesey. Triada Bay were some of my very early dives, and that's where I've had some of my most incredible UK dives too.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Awesome.
So what kind of level are you diving wise? Did you go through the ranks, dive master or instructor?
Yeah, I started as a BSAC diver, up to sports diver, and then I converted to dive master. So when I was at university, when I did my degree, I did marine biology at Newcastle University, and whilst I was there, I was part of that dive club. And then during or just after that time, I did the conversion from sports diver, to dive master.
Yeah.
But I wanted to give myself more opportunities. So I've worked as a dive master overseas as well for a short period.
Enjoy that role?
I enjoyed the diving part of it. It was probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever, like physically demanding jobs I've ever done. It's a lot of hard work. So fair play to the people that are doing that role.
Yeah, Ian's a dive master.
Yeah. I do enjoy it as well, funny enough. And we were diving at the weekend, and it was nice. And there was a girl who was struggling, and she called it on 2 of the dives, on Saturday, and she was struggling with the suit. And very slim framed, so she was struggling with the weight and the weight, and I think also it being quite a dark day as well didn't probably help either. And when it came to the Sunday, she was a lot stronger, and when it came to her taking her mask off and put it back, you could see she was going through this whole process of talking to herself, and she did it, and it was like yes, and that's why I enjoy being a dive master, because it's like she did it, seeing somebody crack that.
This episode is brought to you by Narked at 90, the cutting edge pioneers in the world of diving equipment. Meet the founders, John Routley and Brent Hudson, who have logged thousands of mixed gas dives over the past 3 decades. About 20 years ago, these experienced technical divers combined their passion for diving and engineering skills to create Narked at 90. Whether you're new to diving and ready to take it up a notch, have a fair amount of experience, or are considering a transition into technical diving, we highly recommend Narked at 90. They're ready to advise on the best equipment and setup for your personal and commercial needs. Narked at 90 also has extensive hands-on experience with shearwater and ratio dive computers, being the longest serving UK service centre for these brands. They're ready to offer technical support, servicing, repairs and upgrades for all shearwater and ratio computers past and present. In addition to shearwater and ratio, Narked at 90 stocks and supports many other brands such as DiveSoft, JJCCR, Hollis, Revo and Kiss rebreathers. The diving community is always enthusiastic about Narked at 90, and it's easy to see why. Here are just a few reasons. Full head servicing for rebreathers from various manufacturers, bespoke cable assemblies, advice on specific fitting requirements, suggestions and guidance for home builds, computer laser cutting and engraving, CNC milling and turning, pressure testing to simulate 400-metre dives. We're thrilled to partner with Narked at 90, a company that has ignited so much passion for diving and has been incredibly supportive and innovative in producing and selling dive equipment. Visit narked90.com to see why they're a renowned name in diving. Stay updated on their insights and offers by following them on social media. Just search for Narked at 90 on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and hit that follow button.
It's amazing when you can help, when someone really wants to do it and you can help them to do that, and the excitement that people get from that. It's incredible. I think there are also challenges with people who just not meant to do it. I don't know. I had a couple of experiences where I just can't. I had one person that couldn't hold the regs in their mouth. They just literally gagged. Like the thought of it made them gag. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure how to get past that.
Well, there isn't many, I don't think, that actually come to diving in a natural sense where people just pick it up and go with it. And if they do, they're usually quite young, but most don't. And seeing her, I said to her afterwards, well done and all that. And I said, that's something that you'll remember when you have another challenge in life, that you'll go, yeah, I can do it. And, for a lot of people, they won't think twice about taking their mask off, and putting it back on, and rightly so. But for some people, that is quite a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Yeah, that was brilliant. So why do we need to bother about seagrass?
Well, so many reasons why we need to bother about seagrass. I think it's generally the unsung hero, one of the heroes of our ocean. It's an incredible habitat that does so many things. It's an ecosystem engineer, so it creates habitat and changes the environment to make it facilitative for other organisms. It holds coastlines together, so it provides shoreline protection in a really big way. It sequesters carbon at various rates in different meadows around the globe. The main reason for me and my motivation for working on seagrass now comes from the biodiversity support that it offers, because it supports hundreds of thousands of other species of animals around its near global range. It is a near global resource. So it's a species, well, there are 72 different species of seagrass around the globe. So there are lots of species, but, effectively creating similar habitat. And it does have near global coverage, which is also incredible. The only place it doesn't grow at the moment is Antarctica. But every other continent you will find or should find seagrass naturally. And so it's this real powerhouse of nutrient cycling, carbon sequestration, biodiversity support, coastal protection, cultural connections. Around the globe, people have this deep cultural connection with seagrass. In the UK, you'll see it as well, which is really...
Can we eat it like kelp?
You can eat it. You can eat some species. In my experience, it's not super tasty. But people also have traditionally ground down the seeds in some regions into kind of like a flour. So it's not necessarily the plant itself that is, I mean, it probably gets some decent nutrition from it, but the fisheries that it supports is another key one for me as well. It supports key subsistence across the globe and commercial fisheries. For the UK, it supports our big five. It provides a nursery ground for things like cod, plaice, haddock, herring, the fisheries that people still eat. We're just very disconnected from it. The reason we need to care very much now, and we need more awareness around this habitat, is because across the globe, we've seen massive losses in seagrass cover. In the UK, it's anything from minimum around 50 to maximum of 90% loss over the last 100 years, most of that in the last 40. And so it's one of these habitats that people are not talking enough about, and not yet enough interested in, and slowly we're just losing this incredible resource for so many reasons.
Yeah. So what makes the seagrass areas decline?
There are lots of threats. Historically, water quality, and still today, water quality is probably, arguably, the biggest problem for seagrass meadows. There was a mass die-off back in the 1930s, and it's often attributed to a wasting disease, but coincides with industrialization and declines in water quality. So the organism that causes wasting disease can be found in healthy and is found in healthy seagrass meadows. So something happened to cause that widespread die-off. And so likely it was declines in water quality. But that physical damage impacts seagrass. Obviously, it can be ripped up by, anchor drag or insensitive moorings, boat props, anything basically that you would drag along the seabed. Obviously, trawls would damage it.
Is there like a build up in nitrates? Are we finding that's affecting them, like coming in from industrialized farming over the last sort of like 50 years? Is that making a difference?
Yeah. There's some interesting research. There's a paper called The Perilous State of UK Seagrass, and that's basically around those sorts of impacts and the runoff causing.
Because glyphosate is something that is often attributed to a lot of problems as well, isn't it? Because glyphosate is used so widely in the sort of gardening, from horticulture to right through to farming, and I'm not sure how well that breaks down in the watercourses.
Yeah, no, I don't actually know how well that specifically breaks down. But yeah, and seagrass is also a sink for things like microplastics. So it's at the interface between land and sea. So it is in that coastal grain where you're getting all of those land-based impacts running off. So everything that happens in the catchment, everything that goes into our rivers and waterways is coming out into the coast ultimately and impacting this and other habitats that are found there in the coastal fringe. To some extent, seagrass can help manage that. So it does cycle nitrogen. It is important in that cycle. However, there's a tipping point beyond which it can't cope with the multiple impacts that it's faced with, and we're seeing die off.
Right. So when we see like the water firms, our water firms in different parts of the UK accidentally dump lots of the sewage into the sea and stuff. We've had a recent case just on our coastline, haven't we?
Yeah.
How much does that affect seagrass?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah.
It's like with that water quality and water quality decline, it's the problem's increasing. Like we made major progress with the Water Framework Directive, and things cleaned up for a while. But it feels like we're very much going backwards again now, and people went from no way going in the water to being in the water, and people are in the water and reconnecting with the water. It's a super powerful and empowering thing. But now we've gone and are going back to this situation where there are places that people just can't or don't want to swim because they don't want to get sick. But yeah, that's impacting humans, and the environment is impacting seagrass. Seagrass can help to some extent, as I was saying, with the cycling role that it has, but it obviously can't do it all. And this is a huge problem for all of our coastal habitats and people fundamentally.
With the rain we've just had in the UK, the Anglian Water in Lowestoft admitted they had out, they'd pushed a load of sewage out.
Yeah.
Again.
So there's no swimming again.
Yeah.
Because we used to have blue flag. Lowestoft was well known for getting blue flag, rated for their water, their beach, how clear the water was on the beaches, wasn't it?
Yeah. The statement was like, almost like we've done it again, admittedly. And you think, why?
Yeah. No, I think we need to be a bigger collective voice to put the pressure on. And it's slowly building, not enough yet, but it is slowly building.
Yeah. So seagrass, we know like kelp really grows really quickly. So what's the life cycle of seagrass?
So seagrass, different species, different life cycle. It's an interesting plant that we're still learning a lot about. So research on this plant is relatively new. There's a lot that we still don't know across the different species across the globe. So we're still learning an awful lot. But you do get some very old meadows, which is really, really exciting. There's Posidonia oceanica in the Med. There's some meadows that have been aged at more than 2,000 years, which is incredible. And in the UK, we got two main species, most common species in the UK, Zostera marina and Zostera nolti, and these are eelgrass and dwarf eelgrass, and they look slightly different. So the eelgrass is bigger and usually grows in the subtidal, from the intertidal to the subtidal, and the dwarf eelgrass is smaller, thinner blades, and is mainly restricted to the intertidal area, so gets uncovered by the tide twice a day here. And we have different meadows of different ages around the UK, but they present sometimes as perennials, sometimes as annuals. There's things like that we're still learning. Why we're learning about the reproductive cycle. So when the plants flower and why, what triggers it. There's lots of unknowns still. So there's lots of interesting science that we need in our role as anyone who's a restoration practitioner needs this science and this background to better do the restoration, or to do restoration now with increased chances of success, because it's very hard. And a lot of that is to do with us still learning as we go for this species, this plant.
It's amazing to think there's so much not known about it, because it is always in relatively shallow water.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You get people, what's the term? Plant blindness. You get plant blindness for terrestrial plants. So it's kind of emphasized there, where it's covered up twice a day by the tide or all the time. And it's a plant. It is the only truly marine angiosperm, so it is the only true properly marine plant, flowering plant. So it is a super interesting thing.
And is it related to our grass on land? So like ryegrass or samphire or anything like that?
It's not related to samphire. So that's a salt marsh species. I think one of its closest relatives is the lily family, but it does look like a grassland. It does look like a terrestrial grass, and it grows with a similar sort of root and rhizome system. So you get rhizomes underneath the sediment, and then roots coming off of those. That's why it holds the shoreline together so well. And has all the sediment packed in, and that's how it holds coastlines together, where you've got really healthy, dense meadows.
Yeah, and it's, from my understanding, I only thought seagrass was UK based, because that's all we've heard, but yeah, it is a global thing.
Yeah, it is. That's interesting, because I thought at first it was just a tropical thing. So that, like, my journey into seagrass was accidental, and it started during my PhD. I was working in Indonesia, but I did a marine biology degree, and there was a single lecture that mentioned seagrass as part of a continuum, sort of coral reef, mangrove, and seagrass tagged on kind of thing, and not referenced as a UK species at all. But in the past 20 years, the interest and the awareness of seagrass and its role is being shared more, and we are starting to learn about that, which is fantastic. We had last week's Project Seagrass hosted the second UK Seagrass Symposium. So we had the first one in 2023. So it's going to be a biannual event. So we hosted it. It was last week, and it was incredible to see the interest in seagrass, the scientific community coming together, the practitioners, all of the different people that are inspired in some way by seagrass. And we were at capacity with our venue, so 240 people came to this.
All right.
And Project Seagrass hosted the International Seagrass Biology Workshop back in 2016, and there were a handful of UK academics that turned up to that. We hit capacity of about 100 there at that event. So it's just telling how the interest has grown, and it's wonderful to see the interest grow. And we had people come, so we had some seagrass clown dancers come to the symposium, an artist who's doing an amazing work around seagrass and outreach. And it's nice that, you know, we finally got the recognition it deserves. It is an inspirational environment to be in, and it is an incredible plant. So it's heartwarming to see the interest grow and see the creativity around it that it inspires.
Yeah, I think the only seagrass we've seen when we've been diving is Swanage Pier.
Yeah, I think there's some there, weren't there?
Yeah, because we're
And
ready.
it looked amazing, just watching it all wafted about in the current.
Yeah, it is fascinating. So we have got an app called Seagrass Spotter. And it's an app that you can download on your phone, and it's a global citizen science tool. It's currently available in 9 different languages. Obviously, the more languages we can translate it to, the greater reach we've got. But you can use it to take a georeferenced photograph of a seagrass anywhere in the world, or of no seagrass in an area of coastline, because absence data is really helpful. So we're creating this database, and it's online as well as there is a website, and there's a map, a global map, so you can look where your nearest seagrass is, or where it might be, or where there are gaps. But it's an amazing tool. All of the data is freely available. We want people to use this data. So mapping is a major challenge for seagrass across its global range. It's recognised as one of the global challenges because it's difficult to map, especially, you know, somewhere like the UK where you've got massive tidal range and high turbidity to deal with. So there's lots of clever people trying to work on satellite imagery and develop ways to identify, to pick seagrass out from these images, and it's not easy. It's super challenging. But this type of data is helpful to fill any gaps in the interim, or to provide, you know, the ground truth data. But it is genuinely useful for us to have as many sightings as possible, and it's a really fun tool to use as well. It's a nice task to go out and do. You can get wet, you can not get wet. It's
yeah, we can share about that.
Yeah, please share Seagrass Spotter. Have a look.
Yeah, and obviously we've spoken about diving, but snorkelers, can they get involved as well? I mean, what's the depth of seagrass, the maximum depth that it would be at?
Yeah, in the UK, 6 meters, maybe slightly more, in very clear waters. And so it's not deep at all. And it's from the intertidal to maybe 5 or 6 meters most of the time in the UK. So it's super accessible. You can access it, you know, you can go for a walk at the right site during low tide and just walk around and see the seagrass and take photographs for Seagrass Spotter. You can do it snorkeling, or you can do it diving as well. Nice shallow dive.
It's amazing it survives, you know, when the tide goes out and the tide comes back in.
Yeah,
Does the amount of tide make a difference to it? So like somewhere like Ilfracombe, where they have massive tidal changes, does that, you know, does that struggle to grow like that?
Not necessarily the tidal range, but it won't grow in very high energy environments. And so there's kind of a natural separation between where seagrass would grow and where the kelp would go, or, you know, other algal species. It needs those sort of shallow, sheltered bays. That's its niche.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So and
I can't remember. I don't think I've ever seen any in the Farne Islands.
No, although it's not necessarily shallow, is it?
No, you'd need to be in the shallow. Have a look at Seagrass Spotter.
Yeah, we'll have to see where we can go to find some more. Yeah, because we've done Ilfracombe, Lundy, we've done Farne Islands, so that's, and St Abbs for coastal places to see. Yeah, looks like Ian has frozen up.
Oh, he has.
He has.
Very, very pensive.
He's coming back. Hello.
Hello.
You froze up.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. So, yeah, but we were just saying where we've dived, and where we've probably only seen seagrass in Swanage, maybe
Yeah,
Chesil
I don't
Beach,
think I've
but
seen
I
it in
don't think
Farne
so.
Islands.
Yeah, Chesil Beach we've dived, but that's quite high powered. That does get hit quite hard with currents and
It does,
tide, and
yeah.
so I don't think we've.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing Chesil Beach, but it's, or Farnes. Farnes is quite rocky there, isn't it?
Yeah, it needs soft sediment, so it won't grow in a rocky shore environment. Really, occasionally you do get it growing, but it's got to have some sort of layer of.
And I think around the harbour, it's all kelp. Pretty
Mm.
sure it's all kelp around the harbour.
Yeah. So does it have any sort of enemies as such outside of environmental issues?
Outside of man.
Yeah.
No, but they're not really enemies. It can be overgrazed. So in tropical regions, it's the main diet of things like green turtles and dugong.
Yeah.
And so it can suffer from overgrazing from growing turtle populations. But that's part of the bigger problem of our destruction of ecosystems, because the predators of turtles are removed, and so everything's out of balance.
Yeah, no. So in terms of Project Seagrass, you get people to help put more seagrass back into or move it around different areas?
Yeah, so I mean, Project Seagrass, our mission is to save the world's seagrass. And a key thing for us is the outreach and engagement and bringing people back in, and recognizing that this is there, or it's still there, and how important it is as a habitat across the globe. But we've lost so much that we really need to start putting back where we've got existing meadows. Obviously, the key thing is to protect what we've still got. And in the UK, we have got some incredible seagrass meadows. They're amazing sites all across from the south coast all the way up north, Orkney and Shetland Islands. There is incredible seagrass meadows in patches. But we have lost, as I was saying, like up to 90% of our seagrass cover. And so it is not going to recover everywhere naturally. In some areas, maybe if we remove some of the threats, like let's improve water quality, and it will start to recover or expand where you've already got meadows. But where you've got no seed supply, then intervention is needed. And so that's where we're working on, and why we're working on restoration and restoration techniques. So we have a number of sites around the UK as Project Seagrass that we are working on restoration of seagrass.
Yeah. So can you grow it out of the water and then put it back into its natural habitat?
Yes, you can. It has to be in water, but we've got a seagrass nursery over in West Wales. And so there we do a lot of experimental work, and we've been growing seagrass since we started with our nursery in 2021. Just with very small ponds, and we're slowly expanding. We've grown in polytunnels to have a sort of semi-controlled environment, moving slowly into small outdoor ponds, and then bigger outdoor ponds to kind of create a more hardy environment, and a more hardy seagrass, sorry. But yeah, you can. There we have collected seeds, grown plants, they have flowered and seeded, and we're now on sort of second generation plants, so we can do it. And ultimately the idea is that we'll be able to supplement restoration work with plants grown at the nursery, or with seeds produced from plants at the nursery, because at the moment one of the major bottlenecks for restoration is seed supply. So we need to take seeds from healthy meadows that have got the capacity to share their seeds as well. And that will be increasingly challenging as more and more restoration gets off the ground and people want to use the seeds. So we need this sort of nursery resource as a backup.
Yeah. So does it have a like natural cycle about producing seeds and flowering? Is it only once a year?
Yes, it is. So that's part of feeds into the challenge. Yeah, so it flowers sort of late spring, and then we get seeds sort of midsummer. Kind of depends where you are. So the seeds, we get seeds earlier from the Isle of Wight than we do in North Wales, for example, but it is the summer period. And there's a really small window when you can actually collect the seeds. So when they're ripe, but before they drop out. So we collect them whilst they're still in seed pods called spathes. And there's like maybe a 2, 3, 4 week max window where the seeds are floating a bit more, so they're visible and easier to collect. So we have a really big effort during that time to go and collect the seeds for our restoration work.
How do you collect them?
By hand, which is one of the other bottlenecks. So it is very labour intensive. Lots of volunteers are involved.
What, like with a net? Do you get them with a net?
Nope. So you pinch them off shoot by shoot by hand. You hold the plant and pinch the top off.
Wow.
All right. And then how many seeds do you get in like that?
Bag. So this year, I think from one of our sites, we got around 1 million seeds from 2 weeks of intensive collection spread over as wide an area as we possibly can. But yeah.
But so in each plant will produce how many seeds?
It's massively variable. So in a seed pod, you get maybe maximum 7 or 8 seeds, probably.
All right.
Sometimes fewer than that, and possibly a few more. But then within a meadow, if you've got a healthy, dense meadow, there'd be lots of seeds per plant, so multiple seed pods per plant. But it is highly variable, and you kind of get clusters. So you've got to get your eye in so that you can see the seeds and collect the seeds. Yeah. So it's not easy work. It's super rewarding. Very
I bet.
It's a nice way to engage people as well on the seed collection, because it's something that also you can do in the intertidal, so at low tide, and you can do it by snorkeling as well. So my children have been out collecting with us, which is really cool.
So the majority of like harvesting these seeds, diving is probably not the way to do it. It's more snorkeling then.
Well, I mean, depending on the time you've got, diving yields a high number of seeds in a short period. And it depends on the tide. So we work with the tides, and so we're also restricted where we're snorkeling or using the intertidal by those really low tides. Whereas diving gives the opportunity to collect whatever the tide's doing.
Yeah. So do you recruit people from around the world, the UK as well, to kind of help with this harvesting and replanting?
Yes, yeah, we have. So our restoration work for us is only UK based. We have other projects around the world, but the restoration is focused in the UK. And yes, we do. We work with volunteers, mainly snorkel volunteers. Dive clubs have been out for us in the past to try and collect some seeds, and we've subcontracted some divers to do some seed collection where we've had a very high demand or a need for a quick turnover for whatever reason. But yeah, people do get involved in the seed collection, which is amazing. It's such a great way for people to engage. But then also probably more powerful than that is the planting, and we do have volunteer days where people have come and got involved in the actual planting of the seeds, which is usually done in less nice conditions because it's sort of winter springtime when the planting happens. But we run fragment collection walks as well, where there's a walk organized along the coast, and you sometimes get it especially after stormy conditions, but you do get fragments of seagrass washed up on the shore, so with healthy bits of the rhizome attached and not just the roots, and they can be collected up and replanted, and that's actually one of the most effective ways.
Good idea.
That we're seeing. Yeah, it's a great way that people can engage and do something as well, just with a small amount of training.
Yeah, because we spoke to Miranda and she recommended that we talk to you, and she's obviously been involved, and also Jake Davis, JD Scuba, we see him involved in it as well.
So they're both Project Seagrass ambassadors, and it's amazing to have them just helping share the message and reach different audiences. They're both super inspiring.
Yeah, no, and it's great, to see that on social media, and that's the way we find out about more of these things. Yeah. So do you travel out of the UK to do other seagrass projects, or are you mainly UK based?
Yeah, no, so we do. I was saying that I started my seagrass journey in Indonesia. I was doing my PhD and I was looking at marine resource use patterns and expecting people to be dependent on coral reefs and on mangrove forests. And, I said seagrass was barely mentioned during my marine biology degree. But then during this research, it was very clear that there was a high level of dependency on seagrass. As a food resource, as a resource, you go and collect something and sell it so that you can then buy things that you need to meet your family's needs. It's accessible, so you don't need any kit to go and collect invertebrates or fish in a seagrass meadow. And so my interest grew from there. And wherever you are in the globe, there is some level of human dependence for the most part, but certainly cultural connection to seagrass. And so it's fascinating. It was fascinating at that point that not more people were working on it, and it wasn't in any management plans. It was being ignored as an amazing fishery resource. So from that kind of seed, I guess, we've continued to work across Southeast Asia. And we still have national partners that we work with across Southeast Asia. And we've worked in the Caribbean as well. But we work with national partners who are the people on ground as more technical advisors. So if there's a research question that people want help answering, then we can guide with what science to use or how to collect the data, how to analyze the data. And we've launched a Global Seagrass Challenge Fund as well, which we're starting to put more effort into and work more on. And that's a way that we're hoping to kind of get sort of intermediate funds to local groups that we are working with or we have worked with or who are there and need project funding, sort of smaller pots of project funding, but that's more consistent. So we'll continue to grow that work package with partners overseas.
Yeah, well, that sounds all good stuff. So in terms of projects going forward, what have you got ahead for sort of 2026 onwards?
So 2026, the Global Seagrass Challenge Fund is a big one for us. So pilot projects through that. We're also continuing the restoration work, the science that we're doing around the UK. So we are learning how to do restoration and how to do it better. There's still a way to go, and so we've got multiple projects around the UK where we're seeing varying levels of success. Some sites a lot of success, and so we'll just keep pushing with that and keep raising awareness. You forget that you are in your own bubble, and to me, so many people I know about are interested in seagrass, but my own social media and my own circles tell me that. So it's we've got to just keep pushing to share this joy with others who are outside of that. And so that sort of advocacy and outreach is a big one for Project Seagrass over the coming years. I think as well, it's really important that people understand that the restoration is hard. It is possible, but it's really hard. We've been working on a restoration project in South Wales that was started back in 2017 with trials, and it's taken going back every year. Some seeds were planted in 2020 based on the trials that were done previously, so the science was built up and the knowledge of the site Seeds were first planted out in 2020, just before we went into COVID. So they had a great start. So I don't know if you remember how nice the weather was at the start of that period. It was very
great.
calm and still and warm. So those seeds had a great start. But even with that, we've been back annually to monitor, multiple times annually to monitor and to reinforce with more seeds and more effort. And it's only really the past year that we feel like there's some success that we're confident in attached to this site, and it is incredible now to see it and to see the biodiversity come back to that site. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It's really wonderful to see. So it can be done, but it's not a quick fix. And so that's why the best thing we can do is raise awareness and help people to have a reason to care, so that they are pushing for cleaner water, all of the background stuff that we need for all of our coastal habitats to thrive. We need people to care and to write letters and to be heard.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it's
Surfers
amazing.
Against Sewage, they do a fair bit about that as well, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're incredible. I think what they do is amazing, and we need more people to be on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see you also got a link with Chris Martin and Coldplay as well.
We do, which is very cool.
How did that come about?
I'm not really sure how that happened. It was just an ask. I think they were looking for charity partners, so that we were one of the charities that they supported with the Music of the Spheres tour. I think they supported 8 different charities, and so we just reached out and asked if they would be interested in doing more than that and being a patron for Project Seagrass, and they said yes. So it's awesome. So Project Seagrass has been shown at these massive arenas around the globe. It's very, very cool. Yeah, we've just released a VR project as well. So we've had a VR project going with the headset, and it's there's Coldplay. My link is there's Coldplay music is the background music for the first year in these VR headsets, and Simon Pegg did the voiceover for us. So it's
really
cool, surreal experience where you can put the headset on and be immersed in a seagrass meadow, listening to Coldplay and learning about it from Simon Pegg. So it's probably one of the coolest things we've ever done.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Really good. Get them involved.
Yeah, and it brings it into the kind of modern era, doesn't it? I'm not saying like Seagrass is not modern, but it just brings in another audience, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The interest. Yeah, the VR. Whenever you're at an event, there's always queues for VR, and it's just people are really interested. But it is immersive, and it's obvious why. It's such a great tool, and it also for us it means we can share it with people who can't access the coast. They can still at least experience what it might feel like and see what we see underwater.
Yeah. Do you use AI in anything?
Just what I was going to ask as well.
AI is the big question of the moment. No, but obviously it is a useful tool, and it's going to be a useful. I mean, bits and pieces. It is a great reference tool to use with caution.
Yeah, but it is something of our future, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting technology, I'm sure it'll feed into helping with Seagrass Spotter at some point. And, there's lots of interesting tech that's way beyond my understanding at this point.
Yeah, I suppose that'll be the interesting thing. It's like on apps. And I suppose with, you can really get an app that you can take a picture of a plant, and that will tell you what plant it is and things like that. And I suppose with you be able to do that with your app as well in time.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment we've got a key. So you look up your bioregion, and then you know how many species you've got, and then there's a key to follow to work it out. But yeah.
It
makes it easy.
Interesting.
Exciting times. Yeah. No, it's really. And do you get other dive centres and snorkel? Because dive centres are kind of do their diving, but they are sort of launching into snorkeling, we've found. So do you get dive centres sort of involved in any of the projects you've got going on around the world?
No, not really. And I think we're really missing out on something here. We've been talking about this a bit more. And I think, there is interest in sort of shallower dives and snorkeling. They kind of go as a package, and I think
Mm.
there's an audience there that is already interested in the marine world that we just need to make better connections with. So hopefully this will help us with that as well.
Is it worth approaching like some of the dive agencies like Paddy Aware? SSI do quite a bit on snorkeling as well.
Yeah, we have worked with BSAC, not
Yeah.
Paddy so much. We have rolled out sort of joint comms and comms in their magazine, which is really helpful, super supportive. So yeah, we're always interested in finding new ways and new audiences to reach.
You can come up with, well, like with Paddy, you can submit like a speciality. So like you can learn magic, for example, as a speciality. And also, there's like the whole fish recognition thing as well, isn't there? So and just about
Oh,
Uh-oh.
our friends up at North Norfolk, deep Rob Spray and Dawn
Watson of Sea Search.
Watson. Yeah, so could you like encompass these sort of people as well?
I missed a lot of that because you were breaking up. But yeah, we could. And Sea Search we have worked with. We've got some great friends in Sea Search in different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're all different people that, that are going for the same goal, aren't they? Looking at fishing and everything, looking at it getting better, basically.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
shared mission ultimately, isn't it? And
It
it's
is.
a really great environment to work in.
Yeah. And we have found, like, talking to all these people around the world, everybody's doing these little projects, but then not sharing about it and not
Yeah.
working with other agencies. So the more that you can work with similar agencies, it kind of makes it a bigger beast then.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like partnerships and collaboration is the way forward. At this point, we either all win or we all lose together.
Yeah.
We are in it together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. No, well, it sounds you're doing like great things. Yeah, and the more that, we can, get this podcast out there, spread the word, and people can get in contact with you and
Yeah.
hopefully help the cause. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, well, we better get on to our set questions then. So,
Oh yeah, this is going to sound completely different because I've written down the answers to these questions. These are hard questions.
Well, you're all prepared.
A lot.
That's good.
So
I typed.
is there anything that gets you out of your comfort zone, whether it be being under the water, by the water, or completely away from the water?
This one's probably the one I struggled with most because so many things take me out of my comfort zone. This is outside of my comfort zone. Large groups, big meetings, interviews take me out of my comfort zone. I think for me, being one of the faces of Project Seagrass, I've always been more the background and the platform and one of the facilitators. And so being the face is very much outside of my comfort zone. I am getting more used to it. And I am very much enjoying my role as CEO of Project Seagrass. But it's challenging. My background is science. I'm a scientist, and I'm quite good at the written word. But yeah, I would say these sorts of interactions and not necessarily within my comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh, you've done well.
Okay. And then for our next question, we 3 people who would you take diving?
Oh, this is such a hard question. So it's like how do you pick 3? And every 3 was like but then that led me to someone else. So anyway, it's a great question, if a difficult question. If I could take three people under the water, I think I'd choose people who inspired how I see the natural world, and its connection to people and place. And I'm gonna be cheeky and go for my dad is probably the first one. And I do, I still go snorkeling with my dad, and it's
Oh, that's
amazing.
cool.
But I credit him with my connection to the natural world. Like he's always been, I hope you won't mind me saying, he is a tree hugger, and it's genetic, I think, because so am I. And there's, a deep connection that I feel to the natural environment, to trees, and I feel the same under the water. And so he's in there. I guess more interestingly for other people, Rachel Carson, I think, would be incredible. Her ability to communicate the wonder as well as the fragility of the natural world, I think, was extraordinary. And she was ahead of her time, and we're only just touching the surface of the impact of the chemical pollution across catchments and on seagrass. And it'd be so fascinating to discuss that with her. And it'd probably be quite depressing, because we've watched and continue to watch environmental destruction and decline, but then hopefully there'd be things that we could share that might be a bit more hopeful. I guess. I think that would be very cool. Then maybe Jacques Cousteau, not just because he, obviously opened the world's eyes. Probably those people choose him to magic beneath the surface, but it would be great to hear his thoughts on the restoration efforts and the global seagrass movement. And some of the first underwater photography in its exploratory phase have featured him in a seagrass meadow. And it'd be so cool to just hear, was it important to him? Like, how did he feel about it? Was it an incredible environment, or was it, ignored? We all think it was, people weren't interested, but probably they were, and it was fascinating back then. It'd be great to hear his thoughts on that. And then, so my cheeky fourth is my children, which is actually, there are three of them, so hopefully that's okay. But generally their generation. So my kids have grown up hearing about seagrass, like their mum and dad are both seagrass scientists. We both work for Project Seagrass. It is our passion. So they've not really had any other choice. But other kids haven't heard of it. And nothing compares to seeing it underwater, or when the tide's out, seeing it. And so I'd love to take just anyone from the next generation out and engage them with seagrass. We need people to feel that connection and responsibility for the ocean, and hopefully not have it feel like a burden to the next generations. I know there's a lot of anxiety around what we've already done to the environment, and a pressure that they're going to fix it. But we need to work together and have those intergenerational connections and conversations, and share. And we need that care in the next generations. So those
is there anything like working with the schools, anything like that could help?
Yes. So I know there's lots of great organizations that do outreach with schools. We do it not as much as we'd like, but we do it. We do assemblies, and we've got a great team who work on outreach with schools. The VR headsets is something that we'd really like to tour around schools as well. But we had for the project in Southwest Wales, where we've had the larger scale and sort of successful restoration work. The local school was involved in putting those seeds in bags that went straight into the water. And so it's really important for us to engage as much as possible with that next generation.
Yeah, that's good.
Because if there's any kids listening to this, where would they best to go to for the next step? One, if they're interested in seagrass and they want to get involved, with seed collection, and two, so say they want to be marine scientists. They're listening to you talking about doing this. What's the next steps from high school?
So for the what's happening with Seagrass, our website's a great start point for that. We host information on there. There's lots of really cool educational stuff on there that's available to download as well.
Okay.
If someone's at school wanting to go into marine science, I mean, the traditional route, I guess, and my route was GCSEs and A levels, and then a marine biology degree. I think going back to the UK Seagrass Symposium last week, we had a youth voice section in that, and it was super powerful. Just hearing from the sort of younger generations and younger people, but also hearing why they care and why they want to get involved, but also the challenges that they face.
What did they say? What did they say about why they cared?
Why they cared, there is a real awareness that there is mass environmental destruction, and the next generation does care. That generation does care, and they are feeling like they need to act, like it is a responsibility. And so that's why they care. It's the climate and biodiversity crisis that's where people are aware. And so they do care and want to do more. And this offers an avenue where they can. As the challenge is getting experience in terms of a marine biology or a marine conservation career. It's not that easy, and it's not well funded. And so the challenges are often accessibility, geographically, but also financially as well.
Yeah.
And so I'd say get experience where you can, volunteer where you can, show interest wherever you can, look for placements, do what you can to just get involved and get yourself that experience. I know it's difficult, and we do need to find ways to bring people in more, and we're working on that.
That's good advice.
Yeah. So our third question is, if you had a billboard that you could put out there to the world, you could put an image, a video, a statement on it, just to get something out there to the world about you, what would you put on your billboard?
At this point, I hope this is not too boring, I'd put QR code to Seagrass Spotter, because it's an amazing citizen science tool enabling us to improve mapping across seagrasses near global range. It's really cool, but we need people to engage with it for it to be most useful. So I'd do that. I'd have a multilingual description in as many languages as could fit, and obviously against the backdrop of stunning seagrass. Probably a seahorse and a dugong is the cute and fluffy to bring people in. You can't beat the cute and fluffy.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. Yeah, so we'll definitely put all the links to this into the show notes.
Thank you.
But if people want to find out more about you and the Seagrass project, where is the best place for them to catch up with you?
Project Seagrass website, so just a great start point. We're across all the social media channels, but the website's got all of our contact details. We've got a newsletter that people can sign up to as well. It's a monthly newsletter, so we share what's going on with everyone that's signed up there. We've got a Facebook page for volunteers as well that people can sign up to, and be on it with when the opportunities come out as well. But those sorts of things are featured in our newsletter and on our website as well.
Yeah.
So if there's any events you've got coming up, they'll be in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That sounds good. And if people want to volunteer to help, then they just register themselves on the website. Yeah, that sounds good. So, well, hopefully we'll get some interest when the episode is out there, and people can sort of learn more. But that's been really great.
That would be great. Thank you so much. It's great to be invited, and it's really nice. It's always nice to talk about seagrass.
Yeah, Yeah, and something that is,
Yes,
you know,
good.
probably a bit unknown, but we've brought a bit more knowledge to people who are listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for being on the BiG Scuba podcast.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, we want to say thank you very much to Leanne coming on, and that was Dr. Leanne Cullen-Unsworth.
Yes, yeah. So something we haven't really spoken about before. Seagrass is a new topic, really, in depth.
It's one of these things, I guess, that it's always been there, and it's not until recently. It's always been there, but we haven't really took any notice or understood probably why it's important and why it's necessary and why we still need it in our coastlines and things like that. You know, and in my line of work, people say to me, "Oh, these places don't have gardens," but actually, these things like seagrass are in the backgrounds, and because you see them, you go to the coast and you see it, and you probably don't realise.
Yeah,
and it's easy to, not pick up on it. But I think having an app is good. This app sounds good.
Yeah, look that up in a minute.
And certainly on our little road trips that we have from time to time, keep an eye out for them.
Yeah, I think we've definitely got to put South Wales and North Wales on our list for the coming year, 2026, because it sounds like it's diving, and we've not ventured that far.
Yeah, not done that side, have we?
No. So, but no, it's really interesting. So it's definitely, if you're into looking at the seagrass, just get on their website and register some interest, get their newsletter, and learn more.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, where else we've been, where we maybe have just not seen it, not really picked up on it. That's what it was.
Well, we've
like
been
Norfolk or anywhere like that,
Yeah, but we've been in relatively rocky environments, haven't we? Not with sandy bottoms.
Yeah, with farms, but like I was thinking about like up at Blakeney and places like that, whether there's any up there.
It's not very sheltered though, is it?
No, I guess not. No.
Because even when you think Blakeney Channel, where we've kayaked and you can, it's really clear, there's not really any vegetation, is there?
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess it's pretty tidal and strong currents.
Yeah, that's because I was thinking about some of the stuff it's in, but then I thought, well, that's actually samphire is what I was saying, not the actual grass, and that's not. And she explained that's not related.
No, but it's a relatively common thing, samphire grass in marshy areas. And luckily we've got quite a lot of that in the North Norfolk area.
Yeah.
It's good.
Excellent. Yeah, it's been good, really informative. So look up the website, projectseagrass.org, I believe.
Yes, we mentioned Miranda Krestofnikov, who is one of the involved in Seagrass. So we spoke to her back at episode 23.
Wow. One of the first.
Near the beginning. And obviously look up JD Scuba. We spoke to him, probably a bit more into late, I don't know, 80s, 90s. I didn't look at that episode.
Yeah, it must be, I'd say. Yeah. Well, it didn't seem that long ago when we spoke to him, actually, but I guess it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, but there's a back catalogue of over 200 episodes. So,
so many.
There's 214. So have a peruse and look at the people we've spoken to all from around the globe with different interests and specialities, from people that are deep wreck divers, cave divers, people that are connected to the water but maybe are not divers as such, sculptors, film directors. There's a whole variety of people we've spoken to, and all very entertaining.
No, it's good. There's something there for everybody, and all free. All we ask is that wherever you download the episodes, is that you leave us a 5-star review, because it helps us get found and spread the
Exactly.
word.
Yeah, and if you've got any recommendations for future guests, or you're listening and think you'd make a good guest, drop us a DM and we'll definitely, see whether we can get you on.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. And don't forget, these episodes are sponsored by the lovely people at 90. They are beyond
Technical. Yes. So
Yes.
go to their website. There's lots of all sorts of equipment. The technical diver right through to the recreational diver, and Christmas is coming, so there's lots of variety on there to get something for the diver in your life.
Have you got your Christmas decks up yet?
No, it is the 17th of November. That's ridiculous. For some people it's not.
People in
but me,
Bungay have already got theirs up.
Yeah, I know.
Most of the people in Bungay got their Christmas decks up. I don't know.
But on the subject of Christmas, don't forget to look at the links in the show notes. People like Waterhall, Happy Bottles, Fourth Element have all, McConk's paddleboards, they've all got different things for different budgets that would make great Christmas gifts.
Yes. Yeah, exactly that. Maybe when we start talking about Christmas, maybe you in the edit add some little jingle bells to go with it.
Yeah,
give people the Christmas feels.
Christmas spirit. But they could be listening to this in the middle of the summer because our
Some of
episodes...
them Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But anyway, so I think that is everything that we've covered, and
that certainly was. So for right now, that was
the BiG Scuba Podcast.